A Maroon?
Maroon. No, Maroon are some of the indigenous warriors on my island. We fought the British relentlessly.
Those are the Moors?
Maroons are from, we're called Blackamoors, but my generation originated from Nigeria.
Some Jamaican people can trace their history all the way back in their family line, all the way back to Africa. Peace. We have a great show for you today. It's dealing with the subject of the Maroons. We're going to start with Buju Banton, talking about his family line traced back to the Igbo tribe of Nigeria. And we know that it's an amazing story. Buju Banton is a reggae artist, Rastafarian, and he's a Maroon. To know more about the Maroons, I think the most famous Maroons from Jamaica is Nanny and the Maroons. Nanny and her brothers, and the story about them briefly is they jumped off a slave ship, ran to their freedom up in the hills. The Europeans couldn't keep up with them. They were able to keep their traditions. They fought off the Europeans, and the benefit that they had was that they were able to run up in the hills barefoot. The Europeans, with their cumbersome boots and their heavy clothing and things of that nature, they were no match, including their pot bellies and their, being out of shape. And at that time, black people, we weren't, eating McDonald's, and so Nanny and the Maroons, they came here healthy, strong. So anyway, this is an interesting story, and I hope you enjoy it.
Our indigenous life and our indigenous way of life and our lands are being threatened by the current government administration of Jamaica, who seek to bring Chinese and other nationalities into the cockpit region, which is an indigenous sacred region, to usurp us, the Maroons, as the warriors. So
A Maroon?
Maroon are some of the indigenous warriors on my island. We fought the British relentlessly.
Those are the Moors?
Maroons are from, we're called Blackamoors, but my generation originated from Nigeria. I'm an Igbo man according to my bloodline. And we fought the British relentlessly. We fought King Charles for 40 years.
Igbos of Jamaica and the untold story of the 1815 Igbo slave rebellion in Black River. From the year 1690 to 1902, over 850,000 slaves, from the Bight of Biafra, were sold by the Aros through the Calabar slave port route. About 80% of these slaves were said to be Igbos. Most of the slaves from this route were taken to the northwestern side of Jamaica to work in plantations. To date, many Jamaicans of Igbo descent can be found there.
I just did a video, I'll back this up a little bit, but I just did a video about Igbo and the similarities between the language, Patois, and the Igbo language. So this is very, very interesting in a continuation of that video.
To date, many Jamaicans of Igbo descent can be found there. The Red Igbo, or Red Ebo, were used to refer to the Igbo slaves in Jamaica because of their light skin. It's little wonder there are lots of similarities between Igbo and Jamaican culture, dance, mannerisms, folklore, cuisine, religion, language, and even music.
Definitely they obey. Definitely they obey.
Let's start with the similarities between the Igbo language and the Jamaican Patois language. The Jamaican Patois language has some exact words and borrowed words from the Igbo languages. They include the following. Mbag, which means yam, known as himba in Jamaican Patois. Iroanya, known as cutting eye in Jamaican Patois. Potopoto means mud, also known as potopoto in Jamaican Patois. Ebo as ebo in Jamaican Patois. Anyarukwu, which means greed, is known as big eye in Jamaican Patois. Atu, which means chewing stick, is known as atu in Jamaican Patois. Akara, which means bean cake, is known as akara in Jamaican Patois. So, the word means only, both in Igbo and Patois.
Yeah, this is crazy, you know what I mean? Because these are all terms that I had on a daily basis.
Anyarukwu, the word means greed, is known as big eye in Jamaican Patois. Domet, Domit is a loose and also a direct translation of the Igbo phrase onu uzo, which means door mouth domit. Anu means you or you people both in Igbo and Patois. Chinch means bedbug, which is called chinchi in the Igbo language. Atu means chewing stick, which comes from the Igbo word atu. Okra is a vegetable. The original word is okwuru in Igbo. Obia means mysticism, which comes from the Igbo word obia. There are also similarities in culture. They are pouring libation and the use of Igbo drums. Instead of using palm wine, Jamaicans are known to use rum for libation.
Facts. You already know. The J&B or the Appleton. That's a fact.
Jonkonu Festival. This festival is practiced in other West Indian nations and it is attributed to the popular Igbo deity called Njoku. Similarities in proverbs. Here is a list of Jamaican proverbs similar to Igbo proverbs. In Igbo, he who will swallow adala seeds must consider the size of his anus. In Jamaican it goes like this.
Whoa. Pause.
Cow must know, ow, im bottom stay before, im swallow abby, twee, palm nut, seed. In Igbo, where are the young suckers that will grow when the old banana tree dies? In Jamaican, when plantain one, dead, it shoot, sends out new suckers.
That sounds like patois right there. That's patois right there.
In the Igbo language, a man who makes trouble for others is also making one for himself. Jamaican patois. When you dig a hole, ditch for one, dig two. In Igbo, the fly who has no one to advise it follows the corpse into the ground.
Yo, that's kind of deep. When you dig a ditch for one, dig a ditch for two. I bear witness to that.
In Jamaican patois, sweet moot, fly follow coffin go a hole. In the Igbo language, the sleep that lasts for one market day to another has become death. In Jamaican patois, take sleep mark death, sleep is foreshadowing of death. The story of the Black River Igbo slave rebellion. During the transatlantic slave trade, slaves were said to organize themselves by ethnicity. The Igbo Jamaica slaves were no different. They were known to be the fiercest, most resilient and most outspoken of all the slaves.
You know, what's interesting is, that I think that's one of the differences in the slave market in Jamaica and in America, because it was black people in Jamaica was always the majority. The slave was outnumbered the slave owner, like sometimes like 50 to per 1,500, and the only thing that kept that they had to keep people in line was that gun. And if you saw that movie Zulu, you can understand what I'm talking about. That movie Zulu is about the tribe in the Zulu tribe in Africa, South Africa, and the Europeans came, and I think it was the battle of Uganda, something like that. And the Europeans, they had a fortress, and they, the Zulu ran down on them, was like, yo, it's time for y'all to go. You know what I mean? And they just like, they was warring hard. They ran down. They had men come in, and they were throwing arrows. And the difference was that the Europeans had the gun. And that's what they was able to stand off. They was able to stand them off, push them off. And the story is that the Zulu let them live. But anyway.
In the year 1815, over 250 Igbo slaves in St. Elizabeth's Parish, Black River, Jamaica conspired to kill every white man in the land. The conspirators elected 3 fellow Igbo slaves whom they gave the title, King of the Igbos. They made the other 2, captains. If not for the decision to take immediate action rather than wait until Christmas as suggested by their king, they may have been successful. The plot was discovered by an overseer who not only noticed unusual activities by the Igbo slaves but also overheard them discussing the details of their plot. The king of the Igbo Ebos and one of the captains were eventually captured, but throughout their trial, they seemed unconcerned and did not deny or acknowledge any of the facts with which they were charged.
This imaging right here, this is some powerful, powerful imagery. These are the people who we, in essence, are trying to emulate when we're wearing the fancy designer clothes, the weird hats, the long hair, the rosy cheeks, the Gucci vest, and the Louis tie, and the Gucci shoes, or the ballad, whatever the next name, Balenciaga and all of that bullshit. Humiliating our black women. Anyway.
One of the captains was said to have escaped by burning the prison gate before he was recaptured again. That's all for now. Hope you enjoyed watching this video.
One of the key factors in the Igbo being able to keep their culture is the fact that they ran up in the hills. They were up in the hills for hundreds of years, and it took a long time for the British to come up with peace treaties and things of that nature for them to become part of the mainstream. Each Maroon town has his own chief, his own judicial system. It's an amazing story. We got a lot of work to do, and unity is key. You know, there's the Igbo tribe over there in Jamaica. The bloodline is in America, deep. You know, because at the end of the day, we're all one. Remember that. We're a human family. And the black man is the original man. Love, peace, and happiness.
See you later.
Chant a psalm, skip Eden away. Cause this a youth and I have time to play. Every morning, me wake up, me pray. Chant a psalm, skip Eden away. What a day when just say come, come. All the wicked have to put down them gun. Crack and coke, coffee go down. Sodom and Gomorrah go get boom down. What a day when just say come, come. All the wicked have to put down them gun. Crack and coke, coffee go down. Sodom and Gomorrah go get boom down. Babylon send out all them troops. Figure shoot all the innocent youth. Left the poor people life in a misery. Jah know so we now make them mash up with country. Down in a the ghetto no money now run. Black people are suffer, can't get no herb. Up in a the hills so we go plant some herb. Watch the Babylon, them a fight against the herb. I try bring in coke, but what a day when just say come, come. All the wicked have to put down them gun. Crack and coke, coffee go down. Sodom and Gomorrah go get boom. Babylon send out all them troops. Figure shoot all the innocent youth. Left the poor people life in a misery. Jah know so we now make them mash up with country. Down in a the ghetto no money now run. Black people are suffer, can't get no herb. Up in a the hills so we go plant some herb. Watch the Babylon, them a fight against the herb. I try bring in coke, but what a day when just say come, come. All the wicked have to put down them gun. Crack and coke, coffee go down. Sodom and Gomorrah go get boom. What a day when just say come, come. All the wicked have to put down them gun. Crack and coke, coffee go down. Sodom and Gomorrah go get boom down. My mother wipe the tears from out your eyes. for the 9 months you carry me inside. And all the dignity and all the pride. Mama said me nah go make you look low. Cause me remember one time when we the inna the ghetto. Nothing nah go on but me have to make a mickle. Before the sun down me will shine. Mama just put on the pot because the food have to boil. What a day when just say come, come. All the wicked have to put down them gun. Crack and coke, coffee go down. Sodom and Gomorrah go get boom down. What a day when just say come, come. All the wicked have to put down them gun. Crack and coke, coffee go down. Sodom and Gomorrah go get boom down.
P Funk City G.